welcome back to the Lifestyle Kitchen. Today I'm doing a dish inspired by, again, one of my little quick jaunts overseas recently where I was in Germany visiting an exchange student who was here at Boys High for a number of years, and I got to experience one of their traditional dishes which they only serve in season, which was at the time I was there, which is using white asparagus. Now here in New Zealand we don't see it that often. You can buy it from delicatessens in a jar or a glass form, so that's what I'm using today. But if you get a chance to actually make the dish using fresh white asparagus, it's really nice. Components are some crepes, ham, and then usually a butter sauce. So I've actually made a hollandaise sauce today. I'm going to talk about that as well. So let's first look at the asparagus. So this is how it comes if you're buying it in a jar. Wonderful long white spears of the asparagus. We're using some nice thinly sliced ham, and I've pre-made some crepes. So just a nice, very thin crepe that you want. The recipe's on my sheet that you can get from QTV, so do give it a try. Just an easy recipe to make crepes. So we need a couple of crepes on our plate, or in my case on my board. We're going to put a slice of ham in the centre of each crepe. Now when I had this in Germany with the family, they do it a wee bit different. Again, I've just made it a wee bit easier for us for filming. So here's the white asparagus. So it's wonderful. You could see it in all the markets as you walked around Frankfurt where I was, and Wiesbaden. So it's a really nice way of serving it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to roll the white asparagus and our ham up in the crepes, and then just put those onto a tray, and we're just going to warm these through in the oven, because you can eat the asparagus the way it is, and of course the ham can be eaten as it is. So we're just going to warm these in the oven. Now you could also do that in the microwave as well if you wanted to, just as easy. Right, hollandaise sauce. For those that haven't made hollandaise before, it's an egg-based sauce. So I've had to start it just because hollandaise does take a wee while to make. So in here, to begin with, I had 2 egg yolks, some salt, some pepper, and a squeeze of lemon juice, and gave it a really good whisk together, probably a good 2 or 3 minutes to get that well incorporated. Then what we actually do is we add melted butter to it, and in this case, for this recipe, the butter needs to be very hot, so I just have it in the microwave and get it very hot. And then the process is basically adding a wee bit of butter, just a little bit at a time, so it's probably not even a teaspoonful, and we incorporate the butter into the mixture. Now we need around about 125 grams of melted butter for this recipe, and most of the time you have to use the whole amount. So as I said, I'd already started mine off, so I've already got a wee bit of a head start. Quite a good recipe if you want to make hollandaise with the children. They can actually pour the butter in slowly for you while you whisk, and then you get it done a wee bit quicker. And of course, hollandaise is a wonderful thing to have if you're having things like eggs Benedict for brunch. Poached eggs, salmon and hollandaise sauce goes really well together. So hollandaise goes great with this dish, but you can also use it for a lot of other things as well. As it starts to come together, you can usually add a wee bit more butter each time, because it will start to hold in the actual sauce. Now once you've got hollandaise made, you also need to keep it warm. So just keep it somewhere sitting by your stove or your oven, and it will actually keep the sauce at the right consistency. Because if you let it go cold, because of the butter will start to set, and you'll end up with a solid mass. I'll just put a wee bit more in. Sometimes you just know you don't need to add any more of the butter. I know I'm at the right stage there. So this dish was served to me as an evening meal, and it was served in all its components. So it actually wasn't mixed together like I've done. We actually had a nice platter of the asparagus, we had the ham separate, we had the pancakes which were chopped up, and then the butter to go over the top. So that's why I've brought it all together in one dish. So we'll take our crepes out of the oven. take our hollandaise sauce. Spoon that over the top. And then some sort of nice, just little fresh herb, just to finish it off. So there is my version of a dish that I had in Germany. So it's white asparagus inside a crepe with ham, finished with hollandaise sauce. Thanks for visiting the Lifestyle Kitchen, and I'll see you next time. Hi, Scott here again in the kitchen. Today I'm doing a dish inspired by my recent visit to Pea Puree in London. Now this restaurant is a 2 Michelin star restaurant. It's run by Marcus Waring, who's in partnership with Gordon Ramsay. And the reason I went there is because local chef Michael McMeekin from Winton actually works for Pea Puree and is one of their senior sous chefs. Now they really looked after me during my stay, and they gave me a wonderful scallop dish with bacon dust and all sorts of foams and interesting concoctions. But I've taken that sort of concept that Michael did and brought it down to a sort of an easy level for you. So today I'm doing scallops wrapped in bacon on a pea puree with a wonderful little fresh garnish finished with some avocado oil. So what I've got in my pot here to show you to begin with is basically the pea puree. Now this is fresh peas or frozen peas, basically cooked with a wee bit of chicken stock and then put through a food processor and then passed through a sieve, so they're actually nice and smooth and nice and fine. Season up a wee bit of garlic if you like, but we want that pea flavour to come through. So all I'm doing is warming that through on a low heat. To start with, we've got our scallops. Now I like the scallops without the roe, that's the orange piece. So we've just got some nice plump scallops here. I'm probably going to use 3 of them today. And what we want to do is we want to wrap the scallops in some nice strips of bacon. So basically I've already got my bacon here cut into strips, and we just want to wrap the piece of bacon around the scallop. As I said, this was a dish that's been inspired by Pea Puree, and as I said, they had bacon dust over the scallops, they had a little pea foam, they had a bacon foam as well, so they had lots of different things that's often hard to replicate in the home kitchen, but we're just going to give you a little taste of that whole experience. Now what I'm also using today here is some natural sea salt. This is a Welsh product from Wales, of course, but it's actually been flavoured with vanilla. And what that does is really adds a wonderful touch to the scallops, and it actually goes very well with the scallops. So we're going to put a wee bit of this vanilla salt on our scallops and cook them with that coating. So I've got a wee bit of olive oil in my pan nice and hot, and we're going to sear these scallops. Now scallops don't take much cooking at all. We still want them sort of nice and medium rare in the centre. And I can smell that vanilla already, which is really nice coming out of those scallops. Now for the garnish for this. Now with that I'm just going to add a wee bit of butter to that oil, which is just going to add some richness and some flavour as well. For the garnish we're actually using little nice diced pieces of cucumber, just the actual flesh itself, no seeds and no skin. We're using some little fresh peas or frozen peas depending on what's in season, and we're also going to use some wonderful crisp green apple as well. We'll just have a look at our scallops. So we're just going to dice this apple into nice little. We'll put that in this end. Now if your scallops are very large scallops, some of the restaurants are just serving one whole scallop as a little starter. But we'll just serve 3 of these today because they're a bit smaller. So we're going to start by putting some of the pea puree on our plate. We can sit our scallops on. I'm just going to put a piece of that bacon that's come off over the top. And then we're going to take our little garnish pieces and basically just finish the plate off with those just scattered around. And then lastly, just a wee little drizzle of avocado oil just to finish the whole dish off. So there is our seared scallops on our pea puree with those nice little fresh ingredients to finish it off. So don't forget, if you want the recipe for seared scallops on a pea puree, just email QTV and they will send them out to you. See you next time.